Hello, and welcome to another episode of In Just 1 Minute or So. Today, we continue with the last part of the 3-point estimation. So, to determine a final estimate, the estimate that you're going to use in your project plan, examine the optimistic and pessimistic timing, then compare it with the most likely timing. Consider the conditions that are likely to exist while the task is being completed. Does it seem reasonable that the most likely time can be met? If your team has never completed this task before, or if dependencies for the task are unknown, then the final estimate should be closer to the pessimistic estimate. If your team is familiar with the task and you are able to confirm the conditions for an optimistic estimate, then the final estimate can be closer to that optimistic view. Alternatively, simply use the most likely estimate, specifically if the difference between the optimistic and pessimistic is minimal. For instance, a few hours and no more than 2 or 1 or 2 days. A good practice is to build a buffer that accounts for risks that are likely but still keeps the project progressing at an efficient rate. So let's jump into the formula for the 3-point estimation. So some projects will require you to calculate specific numeric values for task time estimates. There are many online resources, but here we are going to talk about 2 popular formulas: the Triangular Distribution and the Beta PERT distribution. So for each formula, E is the estimate, the final estimate you will assign to the task. O equals optimistic estimate. P represents the pessimistic estimate, and M is the most likely one. So, the triangular distribution. The weight of each estimate in this equation is identical, which means that the most likely case does not affect the final estimate more than the optimistic or pessimistic. So it's E equals, and then in brackets, O plus M plus P, and then all divided by 3. Here is an example. Now, the beta or PERT distribution is a weighted average. The most likely estimate receives a multiplier of 4, while the overall divisor is increased to 6. This method takes into account that the most likely case is more likely to occur, so it's given more weight. The added weight is reflected in the multiplier of 4. So placing more weight on the most likely estimate increases the accuracy of the estimate. In most cases, the beta distribution has been proven to be more accurate than 3-point estimating and is often used to calculate both cost and time estimates. And that's all for today. Thank you for joining. See you in the next episode.